the story is the 51st state. Now, a lot of people are freaking out about it. A lot of people are excited about it. Some people are looking at it like, hey, maybe this is an opportunity for us to get out of a sticky wicket that we find ourselves in now, and instead of having to pay the piper. But nonetheless, Ryan, you were brought onto CTV, or sorry, CBC News, where they, rather than taking into consideration who you are, what your points of view are, maybe some of the nuance behind it, they just took what they wanted and they ran with it. So I'll show a clip here.
A 40-minute clip that they found a solid 90 seconds to show on TV. But that's CBC.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
No kidding. Okay, so let's get into this. So this is the clip that, this is a portion of it. This is the portion that they had you on for. Here it is.
An online search leads me to Ryan Hemsley.
How did you feel when you heard Donald Trump say Canada should be the 51st state?
I was very excited. I've been dreaming about it since I was a kid. I don't actually believe that it's going to be a 51st state, but I do think it's an idea for a broader union between us.
Hemsley is 33 and just moved to Victoria from Calgary. He sells cars for a living and thinks he would be better off financially if Canada joined the U.S.
I know that just based on my work ethic, how hard I work, if I were to pay less taxes and have more access to trade and business opportunities, I know that I would be able to make more money.
Hemsley likes Trump, and he likes the way unelected billionaire Elon Musk is gutting government services.
I love this. Unelected billionaire.
So they got wild. Hemsley actually likes Trump.
It's classic.
As if nobody does. And that's the thing. Well, but this is the thing. So since the 51st state stuff has come around, this has been a big talking point. I've noticed a lot of Trump derangement syndrome starting to really rile up here in Canada. What can you tell me about that, Jasmin?
Oh, my Lanta. Listen, my parents are very liberal. And so when it comes to TDS, I get it the most from them. It is unhinged. And the things that they say, it's like, excuse me, parents, you would be devastated if I spoke like that about another individual. This is not how you raised your children. What are you doing here? But, Trump derangement, it's so bizarre to me how Donald Trump, everybody loved him before he ran and before he started winning. And then all of a sudden, everybody turned on him and started to hate him. And sure, he's not a perfect guy by any means, but the amount of vitriol against him is just absolutely uncalled for and completely absurd. And I honestly think it's really shown a weakness within our own country and just how unstable people are. And you're just looking for whoever the bad guy is going to be. And that's who you're going to blame for all of your problems. And it's just so inaccurate and it's just ridiculous, truly.
How did we avoid this largely, though? Because there was 4 years of Trump before. And, Justin Trudeau tried his best to villainize him and use him as a political tool. But largely, Canadians were like, yeah, whatever. Orange man does orange man things, right? And largely don't care that much. But here in Canada, since the 51st state joke, I mean, does anyone really take it seriously? Is there like they're going to invade us mentality that people actually have? Because I know
people do. I think some people really believe that. And to me too, I'm like, okay, I can understand, because he said it so many times. And so that's annoying. And it's, it just becomes this annoying thing. But it's so unrealistic that it's laughable for him to even say that. And the fact that he would even say that and that people are freaking out about it so much, to me, just signals, again, our weakness. That is a real threat because of the situation our government has put us in. And that's what makes it so scary and so easy to get riled up about it.
Yes, definitely.
If we weren't as vulnerable as we are, it wouldn't even be something that anyone would take seriously.
Yeah, I say that all the time, even in terms of the tariffs. Canada, we're out doing reciprocal tariffs. You don't see anybody in the U.S. absolutely losing their mind over it en masse like we are. Of course, they're going to affect some industries in the US as well, but you do not. I blame the media. That's what I blame, because it's absolutely a psychological operation of some sort. You see the same headlines posted across all platforms, and those little messages and how they get into your head and they start to manipulate the way that you think and view a situation. It happens so slowly and so fast at the same time, and you don't realize that it's happening. And now we're in a situation like this. And I wonder Why? Because every single time you talk about it with somebody, now everybody is just regurgitating the same things, and it's absurd. It's not logical at all.
This is why it feels a lot like COVID right now.
Mhm.
It feels a lot like the hysteria that surrounded COVID, and just the illogic of it. The illogic, because if you really came down to it, you'd say, all right, well, I know he's got some rhetoric, but we're gonna go and we're gonna negotiate with him. But instead we're doing none of that. What are we doing? We're covering liquor bottles in our liquor stores.
It's just embarrassing. It really is. It's so embarrassing.
It's
And
insane. Like, so
it's a hard
Dave,
position to be in. I get it, but
okay, so let's explain it. So what is the position, Ryan? Hit us with your actual position, because the CBC was doing their best to misrepresent where you actually are
This
with
is
all
easy.
of
This
this.
is so easy, and then it comes into question, or it just speaks more to how Trump is a negotiator. He's asking for X, we're giving him Y. We're going to meet in the middle somewhere. He's obviously going to start with an extreme. We're going to go to the complete opposite extreme, which Mark Carney's done today by going to Europe, claiming that we're more European than anything else. Joke, for one, hilarious, but that's the Liberal Party. No, the goal is everyone here meets in the middle. I think that's what would be nice here. And like Kevin O'Leary's pretty big on this, but the economic union is kind of the goal. If tanks were rolling down through Victoria right now, I think everyone would be surprised. We'd all be a little bit freaked out. Okay, it's not going to happen. Never say never in 2025, though, I suppose. But no, I think at the end of the day, this is for a broader economic union. Rupa, who initially wrote that article, talks a lot about that. Like, this is a meet in the middle type of scenario that our leaders just have no clue how to address right now. They don't know how to negotiate with this guy. They don't understand the give and the take. They're just giving and giving and giving. Trump puts a tariff on here. We concede X, Y, Z, and we keep going, and we're blaming him. It's our leadership who is so weak that we're in this position in the first place. But 2 cents. I mean, the 51st state is not about tanks rolling down, the middle of Wellington Street in Ottawa. It's not about that at all. This is about America feeling like they have, well, they're going to be taking their manufacturing back. It's going to hurt us. There's going to have to be some sort of pay the piper situation. And that's what's going to happen in Canada. But to the extent of how far it goes, who knows? I mean, I think it's going to get even worse the more we PO Donald Trump, because it almost seems like, I don't want to say he's acting vindictively, but every time one of our leaders says something snarky and stupid, he just gets more aggressive on this topic. So they clearly don't know how to talk to the man, and I don't see that getting better. I
also, just to jump on that too, I feel like there is a certain aspect of this that is personal. And again, it's so crazy to me how you had the Liberal Party of Canada during the last 4 years making fun of Trump, villainizing him, using his name in vain to pit people against conservatives, insulting Republicans, being really mean people. You had them being really mean to a former president at the time, who, by all accounts, diplomatically, should have been handled with a lot of respect. I don't personally care what you think about the guy or his ideologies because he's right and you're left. I don't care. You're a politician and it's your job to be a good one and to have good diplomacy. So you go and you spend all of this time being so cruel to your own nation by using him as an example. Oh, don't be like him. Oh, they're just like him. Maple syrup megas, like just the dumbest stuff to try to put that divide. And it works because people are stupid. I get called a maple syrup mega literally all the time, which I think is hilarious. Thank you, Chrystia Freeland. But you have this ridiculous rhetoric constantly. And then guess what? The guy who you never, ever thought was going to get in, as Justin Trudeau said, it wasn't supposed to be like this. After he was finally inaugurated, you never ever thought that he was going to get in again because you thought that the left was going to keep winning despite everything contradicting that. He gets in, and guess what? Yeah, FAFO. That's what I'm thinking with all of this, because you spent how many years being really awful and being mean and just doing all of this really terrible stuff to try to buy yourself political points and to try to turn people off of a perfectly legal party and express their democratic right by liking one party over the other. You went to great lengths to shame somebody, and this is what happens when you have bad diplomacy. I think that there is definitely an aspect of that too. And oh, sure, Trudeau's gone, but guess what? We still have the exact same cabinet. We have the exact Chrystia Freeland still there, and Mark Carney, WEF globalist through and through, who, you know, Donald Trump has been pretty gosh darn clear. He is working very hard to eradicate from the United States and from having control over governments like they have. So like we're screwed, I think, overall when it comes to that. And it's due to bad politics that serve no purpose other than selfish ones at the expense of all of your people.
So the FAFO thing, that really resonates right now. It was the is it the Elevate podcast? Those guys have been doing such a great job, and they had a video come out just the other day, and it was talking about the economic hitman concept, right? You know, going in, disrupting an economy, making them basically susceptible to being taken over, and then take them over. And I think the FAFO in this whole thing is that the World Economic Forum has been working on us for a number of years alongside with China to make us susceptible to be taken over. And instead of them doing the final job, Trump's come in and said, I'm going to take it. And I think they're really pissed off at that because, you know, I think it was even Sam Cooper has been saying that, you know, the beachhead for China is Canada, to get into the Western world and take over the United States, take over all of this. They have a long-standing plan to do all of this. I think Trump's really upsetting that apple cart, and perhaps an economic, some sort of takeover, or at least influence in Canada is the better bet if it were for us to survive this.
I actually, the video I posted earlier is a lot on that, about how, you know, Canada has been so infiltrated by elites. Clearly, we have Mark Carney as our prime minister. Wow, make it more obvious, why don't you? And Donald Trump is so against that. And he is, you know, the largest force in terms of disrupting what their end goal is. And, you know, to kind of pivot a bit, I just think it's laughable that Mark Carney is over in Europe meeting with Macron, meeting with Keir Starmer, however you pronounce that guy's name, meeting with all of these other people who are oh so very conveniently also World Economic Forum people. You're meeting there, having meetings about trade, which we've been having for, I don't know, ever, and that's never improved the trade situation. And you're not going to the US, and instead you're meeting with all of these other elites. And if you want to just compare, you know, what's something that the UK, France, Germany, Canada all have in common? Their governments are beyond ideologically left at the destruction of their own people for their own end goals that they oftentimes profit from. So it's just pretty interesting to me that we have this new PM, and instead of going somewhere that is actually looking like it's prospering to an extent, you know, obviously some of the stuff they got to weed out there is going to take some time, but gosh darn, Trump's been fast with it so far. It's just so crazy to me that you go there. Oh yeah, we're going to partner with all of these other nations. It's so great. Canada, we're so close to being European. Oh yeah, we're like the best non-European nation. You know, Europe, yeah, that's my BFF. Like just this dumb stuff. But if you look at their society, it is almost the exact same, but probably 5 years ahead on the same track that Canada is right now. And so it makes me wonder too, like, why are we aligning ourselves with other economies and other societies, or, you know, that are like us, but in some cases far worse when it comes to mass immigration and when it comes to all of these other issues that are really difficult. It's a really bizarre move to make as a new PM, to go and tie your allegiance to these other places that are in the same situation as us. Don't you want to be better? Why aren't we working on our relationship with the US, who seems to be away from that? Or is it because you benefit?
Well, is it just pettiness? Like petty, I'm going to take my ball and go home. I'm not going to play with you guys.
I don't think the left has figured this out, man. Like they're still trying anything anti-Trump, they will tie themselves to. Any at all costs. Mark Carney's coming in here. I'm bringing the new sauce. I'm the new guy in the game. No, dude, you're not. Look at your cabinet. You're the exact same guy. It's brutal. And it's like they haven't figured out yet that attacking this man is not going to win it for you anymore. Like he has overwhelmingly change North America, despite what Canadians believe, and the world. We have presidents all over the countries right now. I don't know. I saw that really wild video that they posted out of El Salvador, the White House posted, of Trump sending all of the criminals down there. And it's this Hollywood production style video. And I'm like, just slow clapping the whole time. Like, this is what they voted for. And it's not just in America. This is global at this point.
Yeah.
And the left still thinks that attacking this man is going to hurt him. And it's funny to watch, man.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's in the States, in the US, people are excited with what's happening. They're seeing Doge, they're seeing all this. Of course, you're going to see on the news, you see the headlines of the radical people that are freaking out and losing their mind, which happens. It's happened for 2 Trump presidencies now, where they, they're rioting in the streets, they're burning everything down. They're doing the same thing when it comes to the Tesla. They're going to Tesla places. They're trying
the same like Greenpeace people who would go and climb the CN Tower or onto like the roofs of premiers' homes are the same people who are going after Tesla. What? Like, it's so absurd.
Well, that's it, because they were best friends with Elon Musk only a few months ago. I mean, until Elon Musk took a stand and said, no, like we can't have nice things if we keep going down this path. It's really bad. And the liberals, the people who call themselves liberals, have become so illiberal. It's unbelievable. They don't even see how they've become the villain that they're trying to portray the other side to be. Of course, at one point is the guy that's cutting the size of government somehow the fascist. It's opposite world. It's Orwellian. It's crazy. But this is where we're at. But let's get into this. So the 51st state, how could something like that look? Now, from my perspective, I'm an American, I'm a Canadian. I was born in Canada, I'm an American citizen. For me, it is a 51st state. I mean, I have access to both sides of the border. So whatever, for me, I think, it would be really good for Canada to, switch its economy and its marketplace from this protectionist market that it's always been, where it has this unnecessary doubling of industries that don't make sense because there is so much abundance just south of the border that they could just ship it up and do other things with their time. Of course, all of the different supply management that we have in Canada, dairy, eggs, chicken, you name it. We've got so much of it. When we could be excelling and going into a new economy of specialization. We outperform the US on aluminum. We make quite a bit of steel, and that's great. And we could be, I guess, a complementary economy mix with the United States. But we've been choosing not to do that for far too long, for a very, very long time. And it's put us in a strange position now that we have Donald Trump, because now it's like, no, we're not going to play that game anymore. And if that game's over, well, what does Canada look like? Because there's going to be some sections of Canada that will, like, the industry just cannot survive if our protectionism falls apart. They will have to retool and do something else. And other places would flourish. I mean, look at Alberta. Alberta's on the cusp of leaving anyway at this point, because no political party is even willing to talk about transfer payments right now. Nobody's talking about it. Donald Trump's going, hey, you could just have way lower taxes. How about that? So what would this look like, Ryan? Like, we're moving forward.
Well, it's hard to say. Like, at the beginning of this whole journey, I was trying to envision it. And Canada as we know it today, it simply won't exist. I almost look at it, it'll be purely a resource-based country at that point. If Canadians are given the option to live freely as such in North America, then this is going to be almost, I joked with people, so take this, in a certain way, whatever, with a grain of salt, but I almost joked like Hunger Games style. Like, there's going to be sectors, like Alberta will be heavily resource focused. It'll be a job economy or job based province, but other places, there's no incentive to live if the market won't sustain them anymore through subsidy. So Canada is going to change entirely. It's just the way that people are operating in it right now is going to flip overnight, in my opinion. So I don't see it as extremely positive in the sense that it's going to be a lot of pain for the gain. You know, I do believe that there's going to be the gain, but I do believe it's going to be shockingly painful. There's going to be a realignment of where the money's going to flow at the end of the day. It'll be decided by the market, and a lot of Canadian town and industry will suffer, and it is what it is. But that's going to be the result, though, of an economy in a country that's been built up that really can't sustain itself. So we're almost going to get back to a point where we have that full reset mode, and whatever survives because it's it's producing. But Canada would change forever. I don't see it actually being positive on the short term. I see it being pretty negative for us. But at the same time, if workflow was opened up and people could leave, I know it's not going to be negative for me. I'm going to go where the flowers are blooming, and that's it for me. But I don't see it as a super net positive in the short term for us at all. But that's just my 2 cents.
This is part of a longer conversation that took place on the Clyde Do Something YouTube channel. If you're not subscribed there, make sure you are. But a lot of these longer form conversations are going to be moving over to the Do Something podcast. That's right. We're moving a lot of that kind of stuff over there. A lot of the shorter videos are going to stay on Clyde Do Something, while we're going to be moving forward with some collaborative efforts along with Jasmin, Laine, Ryan Hemsley, and many others. So make sure that you're subscribed to the Do Something podcast and hit that notification bell so you can find out when we're live. We'll see you in the next one. Keep on trucking.